Section 1. A Humble Beginning. The Making of a Man. George Washington was born into a world of green fields, wide rivers. His birth year was 1732 in the colony of Virginia. He grew up on a farm, a place called Pope's Creek. He did not come from a family of great lords or kings. He was a son of the American soil. He learned the rhythms of the land from a young age. He learned to ride horses across the rolling hills of his home. He understood the importance of hard work and the changing of the seasons. His world was practical, built on what you could see and touch. He did not attend a grand university in Europe. His education was different. It came from books he read by the firelight and from the world around him. He learned mathematics. This led him to a job as a surveyor. He traveled deep into the wild parts of Virginia. He measured the land, marking boundaries for new farms and towns. This work taught him to be precise and careful. He saw the vastness of the continent. He met many different kinds of people, from wealthy landowners to rugged pioneers. Washington's youth was also marked by personal loss. His father died when he was only 11 years old. He became closer to his older half-brother, Lawrence, who became a role model for him. Lawrence was a soldier and owned a beautiful estate called Mount Vernon. He learned about military life and the duties of a Virginia gentleman from Lawrence. These early lessons planted a seed in his mind. He began to think about a life of service, a life bigger than just running a farm. He felt a pull toward duty and honor. This simple, ordinary life was the quiet beginning of an extraordinary journey. He was a man of the land, not a man of words or grand theories. The quiet farmer and surveyor from Virginia was standing on the edge of history. Section 2. The Call to Arms. A young officer's first test. The first great call to adventure for George Washington came not with a trumpet's blast, but with the distant sounds of conflict. A war was brewing in the American wilderness. It was called the French and Indian War. Great Britain and France were fighting for control of the vast lands west of the Appalachian Mountains. Washington was a young man, full of ambition and a desire to prove himself. He joined the Virginia militia as an officer. This was his first taste of real military command. He was eager to serve the British crown and defend his home colony. His early experiences in the war were filled with hardship and danger. He was sent on a mission deep into the Ohio Valley. He had to deliver a message to the French, telling them to leave the area. The journey was long and brutal. Freezing rivers, heavy snow, and the constant threat of attack. He learned that leadership was not just about giving orders. It was about survival. It was about enduring pain and fear. One of the most important moments of his early military career happened during the Battle of the Monongahela. He was serving as an aide to the British General Edward Braddock. Ambushed, the army fell into chaos. Washington remained calm, riding orders through the fire. Years passed, and the relationship between the American colonies and Great Britain grew sour. The colonists felt that their rights were being ignored. Tensions rose until they finally snapped. The spark of rebellion ignited into the flames of war. The American Revolution had begun. The colonies needed a leader, someone to unite militias into an army. Their choice fell upon George Washington. He was asked to become commander-in-chief. This was a burden he did not seek. He felt the immense weight of the task ahead. He knew the odds were stacked against him. A professional army, a massive navy, a wealthy government. In contrast, the American army was a collection of farmers and shopkeepers, with few guns, little powder, and almost no money. Many believed the rebellion was doomed to fail. Despite doubts, he accepted the command, believing deeply in the cause of liberty. He left Mount Vernon for Massachusetts. His presence brought purpose and discipline. He worked tirelessly, writing letters, planning strategies, inspecting his troops. The early years were defeats and retreats. Hunger, cold, and desertions threatened the cause. But he refused to give up. His unwavering resolve held the army together. He was the anchor in a raging storm, the one who kept the dream of independence from being washed away. Section 4. The Crucible of Winter. Trials at Valley Forge. The hero's journey is never easy. It is filled with trials that test the soul. Their greatest trial came during the winter of 1777 to 1778 at Valley Forge. It was not a town or a fort, just a bare plateau. The soldiers built their own shelters in the freezing cold, a crucible where the army would melt away or be forged stronger. Conditions were horrific. A cruel winter, little food. They survived on fire cake. Many had no proper shoes. Blankets were rare. Disease swept the huts. Typhoid, dysentery, pneumonia. They fought invisible enemies of hunger, cold, and sickness. A silent, brutal battle for survival. Washington did not hide in warmth. He lived among his men and shared their hardships. He checked on them constantly and pushed for supplies. His letters pleaded for food and clothing. He wrote of their bleeding feet in the snow. His steadfast presence gave them reason to keep going. Baron von Steuben arrived. He knew how to train soldiers. With Washington's support, he drilled the men to march, use bayonets, and fight as one. Out of misery, a new army was born. Tougher, disciplined, and dedicated. By the end of 1776, the American Revolution was on the verge of collapse. Beaten again and again, the army was chased out of New York and across New Jersey. Men were ready to go home. He needed something bold to restore hope. He looked across the Delaware at the enemy in Trenton. He chose a desperate gamble: cross on Christmas night and strike by surprise. Weather turned vicious. Ice choked the river. Many thought it suicidal. Seasoned fishermen guided the barges through the grinding ice. Sick and half-clothed, they held fast in the bitter wind, hours longer than planned, but Washington would not turn back. His quiet resolve pulled them through the dark. At last, they reached the other side. The attack was a stunning success. The Hessians, caught after Christmas revelry, were overwhelmed. Nearly 1,000 prisoners and vital supplies, with few American losses. It proved the army could fight and win. Many re-enlisted. The crossing became a symbol of resilience. Washington's daring gamble breathed new life into independence. Section 6. The final victory. The surrender at Yorktown. There were more battles and hardships. Washington learned and grew, managing crucial French alliances. In 1781, opportunity came at Yorktown, where Cornwallis sought support from the Navy. Washington secretly moved American and French forces south. The French defeated the British fleet and blockaded the Chesapeake. Cornwallis was trapped. American and French guns pounded the defenses without rest. Washington personally directed the siege works advancing toward the walls. The British works failed, stores ran low, and men fell. No hope of rescue remained. Cornwallis asked for terms. On October 19th, the British laid down their arms. They marched between the victors, Americans on one side, French on the other. Cornwallis claimed illness and sent his second to surrender the sword. The tremendous victory effectively ended the war. The final test was met. Washington's leadership secured the birth of a new nation. Section 7. The Reluctant President, a New Kind of Trial. After the war, Washington wanted only to go home. He willingly gave up power, a shock to a world of kings. But the new nation struggled under weak government and division. He was asked to preside over a new constitution. He accepted the presidency out of duty, calling it his walk to the gallows. He had to create a government from scratch, choose a cabinet, and shape finance and foreign policy. He balanced the competing visions of Hamilton and Jefferson. Through political attacks and rebellions, he defined the limits of power. He kept the young nation neutral. His steady leadership provided the stability the republic needed to survive. After 2 terms, many urged him to stay. The path to lifetime rule lay open, but he chose the republic's principles. He decided to step down to prove power must pass peacefully. In his farewell address, he warned against parties, urged unity, and cautioned against foreign entanglements. He showed the office outranks the man. Hearing he would return to his farm, King George reportedly said, "If he does that, he will be the greatest man in the world." Section 9. A Quiet Legacy. The farmer returns home. After leaving the presidency in 1797, he finally got his wish. No longer General or President Washington, simply a farmer again. He rode his fields, experimented with crops and new methods, and cherished time with Martha and grandchildren. A peaceful conclusion to a life of storm and struggle. He saw divisions deepen, and it pained him. He also wrestled with the issue of slavery, a deep contradiction in a champion of liberty. In later years, his views shifted. In his will, he ordered the people he owned freed upon his wife's death. In December of 1799, after riding in cold rain and snow, he fell ill. On December 14th, surrounded by family and doctors, he passed away. His last words were, "'Tis well." Grief swept the nation and the world. The father of his country was gone. His heroism was found in quiet character, duty, patience, sacrifice. He did not crave power. He accepted it as a heavy responsibility. His greatest lesson: true strength is knowing when to let go. He remains a symbol of leadership and integrity, and proof that one person, through steady and honorable action, can change history for the better.